Thanks for joining us. We are Deplorable Rhetoric on WSTBR. Join us every Tuesday at 10 a.m. You can also reach us on Facebook at Deplorable Rhetoric, on Instagram, Deplorable_Rhetoric, and on Twitter, we rant the number 2 rate.
Sorry, I just read that Herschel Walker falsely claims he's an FBI agent. Okay. Anyway, so good afternoon, good morning, everybody. Welcome to She's the Boss Radio. 24 hours, 7 days a week, focus on topics to build, strengthen, inspire, as well as motivate men, women, and youth from the home to the conference room and around our community. I'm Sigourney.
I'm Iran.
And this is Deplorable Rhetoric. If you want to tune in or be a part of the show, you can call 443-272-5922. You can also go to she'sthebossradio.com and see shows there. You can also listen in on tunein.com and shoutcast, tell Alexa or Siri to play She's the Boss Radio. Also follow She's the Boss Radio on Facebook at She's the Boss Radio, on Twitter at She's the Boss Radio, on IG and WSTBRN, and Twitch and Tumblr is WSTBR. Okay, so to be honest, I have not seen a lot of COVID news, but I did hear last week, I think it was, about something. So we're at what, BA5 and BA 2.75, but I thought I saw something about BA7. But yeah, I'm not actually seeing anything about that. So, and I heard it was supposed to be spreading across Europe. So I have no idea about that, but I have not seen anything about it. And this is from so I think we're still just at BA 2.75 and BA 5.2.1, which there still seems to be no new information about these variants and how they're spread, how quickly they're spreading, or anything. So we're still kind of in limbo about all of that. And that's pretty much it.
That's it.
For COVID. I mean, everything is still pretty much the same. And so get ready. Mm-hmm. That's all I can say. But and I will say this though, there's I think it's called Marburg or Marsburg disease. I think they found a couple cases here in the US. Now that was something that came out of Germany some time ago, but they were able to kind of get rid of it for the time being. So apparently it's back. And it doesn't seem to be out of control or anything, which is good, but it's just one more thing, I think, for us to Marburg virus to look out for. So it says it's a hemorrhagic fever virus of the Filoviridae family of viruses and a member of the species Marburg, some other crap. Marburg virus causes Marburg virus disease in primates, a form of viral fever. The virus is considered to be extremely dangerous. So that is a very poorly given. Oh, so no, it wasn't actually in the US, it was in Ghana. That's right. So this was in Ghana. Sorry, there was something else that came out in the US. I forgot. But anyway, this is like an Ebola-like virus. So it can spread pretty quickly and everything. But last time I think it broke out somewhere in Africa, they were able to quickly contain it and get rid of it. I think it said within a week. I think that's what the article yesterday said. So that's something hopefully we don't have to be on the lookout for, because I'm tired. I'm tired of all this crap.
You are not the only one.
There's just too much. There's too much. But we're actually just gonna break from all that, and I think we should just kind of get into what it is we need to get into.
Election day.
And that is, yes, today is the election day. It is July 19th. So there's a lot of people out there doing their thing with that. Now it is funny for me, the two how can I say, there's two different sets that I see the most about, are like the Baltimore City School Board, and I kind of pay attention to that because there's one girl in there that I'll say we both were part of like the same political group. I didn't really know her, but she seemed to be pretty involved in what she was doing. I think she was even interning or something with a constituent. So, that, I mean, not saying that she knows everything or whatever, but it gives her a little bit of street cred, better than some people. But then also, our favorite group to follow, I think, right now is Baltimore City State's attorney candidates, and
it's 3 top candidates that I am.
So, I mean, of course, there's many more people to pay attention to, but those are the 2 that
3.
we see. No, I'm talking about 2 groups that we see a lot of information. I do anyway, but I guess it would be more heavy hitting if we just start with state's attorney, because I know Moran wants to dig into that anyway. So
ain't no point. So much.
Ain't no point me starting anywhere else. So
yeah, that's because I hate one of them to the core. Like, I really, really do not like him. And of course, you guys know who that is. That is, how do you say his first name?
Because I say it all the time.
I always call him Tharu, because I always. That's the only way I'm going to remember.
To me. I don't know.
Yeah, Ving some whatever. Anyway, so this is my issue with him. He used to be a prosecutor, and his whole site on Baltimore City, he envisions for Baltimore City is cracking down on crime. That happened. Another state's attorney did that decades ago. And what happened is we had mass incarceration, the police corruption went up, homicides were still not being solved. And that's what he wants. He said his priority is to rebuild relationships between the community and law enforcement. Criminals will be held responsible for their actions. If we're using 40 caliber weapons, have fired them more than 10 shots at the crime scene, are committing these murders in broad daylight, are finishing victims off with headshots. This is all him. That's not the first offense. First offense. If they did all that, that's not their first offense. It's something we've done before and you're likely to do again. So our competent of cold cases prosecutions are going to focus on these cases. Now, this makes no sense to me. You're talking about people getting shot with 40 caliber weapons, 10 shots in broad daylight and all that. What does that have to do with cold cases? Baltimore County.
You didn't compare the 2.
No, but that's one paragraph. All of that in one paragraph. There is no.
Well, I mean, I don't think there necessarily has to be. I think he's just trying to put out there why he feels like we need harsher laws and stuff.
Yeah. So he's saying that. Hold on, let me see. He wants to hire more homicide detectives. In Baltimore County, there's 1 detective for every 3 murders, but in Baltimore City, there's 1 detective for every 10 murders. That's a huge part of why the county, they solve 90% of homicides.
That's what he says.
Mm-hmm. But in Baltimore City, we make arrests in less than a quarter. Murders are the city's defining challenge. I pledge to get murders below 200 in 2 or 3 years. How many times have I heard that promise? And it's never come to fruition.
Even at this point, last year it was 338 homicides, and that was actually up 3 from the same point in 2020 when it was 335.
Yeah.
So far this year there's only 196. And so yeah, I mean, it's gonna be quite easy. Well, we're halfway through the year, so I mean, it looks like we're still on track to reach those numbers. So nothing has really changed in the past 3 years at least.
But he wants to go back to.
We actually need to go to break, so I have to cut us off here. We'll be right back.
We don't break the laws. We just make up our own. The internet's best choice for music. She's the boss. Radio Network.
Yeah, that's the sound of today's business community. It's a dog-eat-dog world and only the strong survive. The challenge is navigating the ever-changing business environment to put your business in the forefront. So how does your business keep up with the changes? That's where She's the Boss Network comes in. She's the Boss Network is an internet media network that's been helping businesses like yours get the exposure that you're looking for at reasonable cost by way of radio and video. They'll help you stay successful by navigating change and seeing the big picture. After She's the Boss Network analyzes your business and marketing strategies, you'll start to see a media presence like you've never seen in your business before. And She's the Boss Network doesn't stop there. They use their findings to create a practical plan of action, a plan that will get your business from where you are to where you need to be. There you go. Lock those dogs up for good by giving She's the Boss Network a call at 866-494-5945, extension 101, or by checking their website at she'sthebossradio.com. Again, that's 866-494-5945, extension 101, or she'sthebossradio.com.
Hey, I'm Jenny James for Neatly Done Carpet Cleaner. You've probably been home a lot more. Maybe you have kids like me who spill all the time, and you've noticed that your carpet's not looking so good. Why don't you call Neatly Done Carpet Cleaner? They use a dry extraction service, so you won't have wet carpet all day long, and you can get back to doing the things you love with your family immediately. And it's a way to make your room healthier while improving your indoor air quality. You can do tile, slate, granite, ceramic, area rugs, and yes, they're pet-friendly too. Why don't you get a free, no-obligation estimate today? NeatlyDoneSanAntonio.com.
We don't break the laws. We just make up our own. The internet's best choice for music. She's the boss. Radio Network.
So again, going back to this guy, he wants to go back to zero tolerance policing, which to me is the dumbest thing. If these candidates will look and study Baltimore City politics, what happened, all these chiefs of police that have come from other states and other cities to become our chief and it never worked out, whatever. Same thing with state's attorneys. You can't come and try to take an idea from somebody else. It didn't work the first time. Come with a better plan. So to me, the Rue, I can't get with him. I don't understand. He doesn't understand. He was a federal prosecutor. He doesn't understand. All in his mind is prosecute. How many wins can I get so I can get to the next step? That's it. This is what I'm getting from him. I'm not saying it's factual. That's my opinion. I think that's who he is. He likes to poke at what's wrong, but his solutions still don't make any sense because these are the things that have been done. You've heard somebody say it or somebody brought it to you and said, this is what you should say. And this is what he's saying, which makes no sense. And then candidate Ivan Bates. He's, of course, the managing partner at his law firm. And he used to be a former state's attorney employee. He worked for the city. He was a defense attorney. And I really don't know too much about him other than he was endorsed by, or he's being supported by Sheila Dixon. And not, yeah, of course he does. Yeah, so.
He does want to be remembered for his crime reduction, he says. That's his legacy. I mean, that would be a pretty big deal in Baltimore because it's been such a big issue for decades and decades. If anybody could get it down, they would be remembered forever.
Yeah.
But I
don't think
it would
him.
have to stay down.
Yeah.
It'd be one thing to get it down and then it go back up. But and then of course, Marilyn Mosby's still going through all her crap with her fraud and perjury case and stuff like that. So these are who the three people are that we got.
Right.
And seen some signs today, just like the Brandon Scott one. There's one liar. It says right above Mosby's head that's been being plastered, at least across West Baltimore. That's where I've seen two of them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, people are upset with her. But her court hearing is September 19th, so we'll see what happens.
Right. And honestly speaking, at this point, we don't have the whole story, and this is what, as human beings, we have a problem with. We hear the top line and go with it. There's pros and cons to everything. There's your side, my side, and the truth. I'm not saying she's 100% truthful. I'm not saying these charges are bogus. How many times have charges come across the table and then ended up being dropped? So I don't believe anything until everything is done. I'm not taking sides. Yes, I am, but I'm not taking sides.
I don't know. It just sucks because most people in government positions I don't really trust anyway. So I
Right.
wouldn't put it past her.
Yeah, I don't put past I don't put anything past anybody, but yeah.
But yeah, so and also about Farouk, because I was on his Twitter page. So he's a proven prosecutor endorsed by Governor Hogan and 5 police commissioners. Only Theroux has the experience and leadership to beat Mosby, rebuild a partnership with police, and get violent criminals off our streets.
That's the problem. Your alliances are all the way wrong. They are all the way wrong. How can you defend or help a city grow and heal if you're saying the people that violate you, that's who I'm friends with. That's who I support and defend. That's bull. Okay.
Theroux, there you go.
Out with the old, in with the room. Kiss my whole foot.
How do you say his name?
Are struggling to
Theroux.
say Theroux, Big Naraja. That's actually
Theroux.
short for me. My parents didn't do me any favors. Here's how I teach people how to say my name. It's Theroux, like I threw the ball. Except it's 2 syllables, not 1. Out with the old, in with
Theroux.
Theroux.
No.
That's like out with the old, in with the new. But instead of the new, you say Theroux. Out with the old, in with Theroux.
I want to go to the polling place where
Out with
he
the
is.
old, in with
So there you go. Now you know how to say it.
I still am not
Because
going
it
to say it
says,
right
so
now.
you're ready to vote for me, but still worried you can't pronounce my name. Here's a short tutorial, so I had to play it.
Yeah, my whole thing is that wasn't my issue.
I mean, that wasn't
Yeah,
the point.
I know.
The point was, you did mention earlier, even though you've been saying it, so I don't know why you asked me, because
I
you know I
thought the
haven't
V
been
was
saying
his
his
first name and the yeah. That's how much I
Yeah,
care
so-
about him. I really don't.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, they're all on the same level to me. I don't see Theroux being any worse than any of the rest of them. Again, that's just how I view politicians and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I do think he's a bit harsh, especially when it comes to those squeegee kids. Like, I for one would love him off the street, to be honest. But I do agree a little bit with Brandon. Actually, all of them, that something needs to be done. It's just the way in which things are going to be done is my issue. And I don't really know what that entails. Honestly, I think it has to be some kind of program that will take these kids in and help. I mean, first of all, you need to address the school issue. You have kids sitting here saying, well, they actually taught us stuff, I'd be there, or, you know, they're not teaching us anything, blah, blah, blah. I just saw it again this morning. I mean, that's an issue. If they feel like they have nothing to work towards, then they're not going to go. And it could be time to just completely restructure the way the school system is. Like,
The curriculum and everything.
Some kids aren't going to learn the same way as other kids, you know. And at a certain point, maybe even 14 to 15, if a kid's showing interest in being a construction worker or something like that, then putting him in a program that's more suited to that. And
Within the school.
I mean, that
yeah.
would. No, I'm just talking about a completely different thing.
Okay.
Like, completely restructuring it. Like I said, you know, yeah, I mean, math and all that stuff's going to factor in, but some classes should be more important than others if that's the route they want to take and stuff like that. But I know that's a big ask, and that would completely change a lot of the way things are structured. But you know, we're not gearing school towards the way these kids are learning, especially because things change.
Mm-hmm.
Kids now, with all their issues, and you know, I blame the internet and social media for that in large part, but just things are different, and kids can't hold their attention span like they used to, and so on and so forth. But that's a whole nother story. But yeah, so I don't know. As far as state's attorney, Baltimore City state's attorney,
Make a choice. Make a good
I-
choice.
I-
Because
yeah.
honestly, I just don't want to. It feels like I said last week. I feel like we're running in a hamster wheel. Somebody's got to eventually jump off and come with a better plan. The zero tolerance policing, didn't we just finish prosecuting a bunch of corrupt cops that have been corrupt for a while. And the other cops that weren't caught, they're sergeants. They've moved up, moved on, and everywhere else. And you let those fall through the cracks, but you are pumped that you're being endorsed by the same corrupt police department. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Mass incarceration. Okay. What city has supermax within the city limits? Has all kinds of jails, including baby bookings, in city limits. Like, to me, that's the craziest thing about Baltimore. Like, how does that make sense? And it's people living across the street from the supermax. Like, what?
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to put it in the city, yeah, at least have it in an isolated area, but there you go.
It makes no sense. And this idiot, I'm sorry, Theroux, wants zero tolerance policing.
Yeah, I mean, I doubt it's going to work.
Do you know how many people are going to be calling the police on random people? It's already happening, but it's going to get worse if the police are coming just to arrest folks. It's shoot first, ask questions later. Even if they ask questions later.
One thing I'll give Bates, though, I'm on his page, and I didn't really see this with Theroux, and I didn't go through like a whole bunch of the tweets, but a lot of it for Bates is other people endorsing him, like Baltimoreans or just whoever endorsing him. So it seems like he has some favor with like regular ass people, you know?
He's a defense attorney, so he knows a lot more people than a prosecutor would.
Well, even besides that, I'm just talking about everyday people like you and me. So, I mean, there's just a lot of people who are just putting, that their Mo's beat out and that, hello, Baltimore, please remember to vote tomorrow and do so for Ivan Bates for state's attorney, even if you check no other box. This one is what am I trying to say? It's shot at Theroux. It says, at Theroux for Baltimore, endorsed by Governor Larry Hogan, has been shown through his own text messages to abuse women working for him in the MD Attorney General's office. Thank you at Katie Doran for your courage. I, for one, would like to see a map of where at Ivan Bates win, and hashtag free Keith Davis Jr. But I'm glad you brought that up.
Theroux has a history of abusing women.
Yeah, not to mention the DUI a year or two ago.
Talking about, I'm Theroux. I'm a federal prosecutor. I'm Theroux.
He tried driving drunk, so.
Yeah, but he tried to use his position to get out of it.
Yeah, that'll happen.
And y'all thinking about voting for this idiot? And just think, Hogan, knowing all of this, well, Hogan has his own skeletons in his closet that a few bones have fallen out. I need that thing to be wide open. He got a nerve to run for president. So it's not a secret. We knew you wanted to run for president way back when.
Yeah, exactly. We saw for a while with his book and everything, but
that's when he dropped the ball big time. Like
more about that.
Yeah, the mask fell during that time when he was writing his book. The true Larry Hogan showed up.
So as far as these prosecutors, man, it's gonna be. I think ultimately it'll probably come down to Ivan Bates and Mosby, so that will be interesting.
And don't get me wrong, just because Theroux is listed as a Democrat, or should I say Democrat, that does not mean anything. Mnuchin is Democrat.
Yeah, sometimes he votes that way, sometimes he goes Republican. But we have to stop for a break. We will be right back.
Beauty's in the eye. We complicate things when all along it's just perfect as it is. Beauty is from within. It's how you feel, not as how others see you. Skincare shouldn't be complicated. She's the Boss believes skincare should be nurturing, easy to use, smell delicious, feel refreshing, and look incredible. She's the Boss Cosmetics and Skincare brings you our botanical-based skincare line that's gentle, uncomplicated, and extremely effective for men, women, and youth. Feel confident and radiate a power glow that flows from the inside out. Exude an assurance that extends from the home into the conference room. Visit us at www.shes-the-boss.com or call us at 866-494-5945 to get yours today.
She's the Boss Enterprises, in collaboration with Get It In Island Cuisine 2, presents WSTBRN, She's the Boss Radio's Second Thursday's Networking Mixer. Every second Thursday of the month, from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., we will be highlighting a business once a month, radio opportunities, advertising, conversations, great food and drinks. So come on out and enjoy $3 rum punches, $5 Tito's vodka, and $7 catfish platters. For more information on this event and others, follow us on all our social media pages. Facebook, we are She's the Boss Radio. Twitter, we are She's the Boss Radio without the O. IG, Twitch, and Tumblr, we are WSTBRN. Or go out to www.she'sthebossradio.com. We make radio first so that your vision will be heard. If you would like to shine a light on your business during Second Thursdays, please email us at info@she'sthebossradio.com using the hashtag in the subject line, shine a light on it.
We don't break the laws. We just make up our own. The internet's best choice for music. She's the boss. Radio Network.
Saying she was a teacher. All right, so we also wanted to talk about the Board of Education for Baltimore City because it's such an important institution. For one, because recently it has been not doing so hot with like the grade changes and stuff like that. But just moving on past that, there are 2 seats that are available, and for the first time ever, apparently in Baltimore history, they are allowing people to be elected into those seats. So there's 8 people running, and as I mentioned last week, there was 5 people out of those 8 who chose to talk to Baltimore, Project Baltimore about, why they were running and who they were and blah, blah, blah. And they also, in this particular article that came out, I think, a few days ago, yesterday, they talked a lot about transparency. They all believe, again, different, along the different lines of transparency, but they all believe in transparency and think that, people running for these positions to be much more, in the eye. I know they all said that media, they should all talk to media more. And I think that's one thing that could help, is talking to media more, but it's not going to help if you're sitting there beating around the bush or lying to us about something, because that's not being transparent. But as a reminder, so I know one of the candidates, and I wish I remembered their names. One of the candidates, she is a life coach, and she says that she had some experience working with special education. The other one was Mr. Bay, I think was his name. Kwame Kenyatta Bay. And I don't know what he did, but do you know who that is? Yeah, so he is one of the people that was willing to talk to Project Baltimore and talk about transparency. Another one who, again, I'm somewhat familiar with, Ashley Esposito, is a teacher. I'm not a teacher. She works in IT as a mom, so of course she's invested in that respect, because what parent, is it? You should care about your kids' education. And there's another young lady who is a teacher, or was a teacher, I should say. Mm-hmm. And this other lady, I honestly cannot remember. But so sorry.
What, April Curley?
Maybe, I don't remember her name. But
So I believe in transparency.
I think that might be her name. But yeah, so all 5 of them are saying, like, look, people need to be able to know what's happening within the school system.
Yes.
And I think if there was more transparency, we wouldn't have some of the issues that we have now. I mean, for years and years, grades have been changed, or you, again, having dead kids on the roll, things like that. It's really sad to see what's happening with the educational system. And then, again, to have these kids, sit there and say that they're not learning anything anyway and blah, blah, blah. Now, again, these are kids saying it, no offense, kids will say anything. But I think there is some truth, and I think if we talk to even teachers who quit maybe in the last or fired or whatever in the last couple of years, I think they would have a lot to say about how the school system is too.
They would agree with the
Some
kids.
some of them, have checked out, and I know that's been across the U.S., especially during COVID, because going online for a lot of teachers was just the worst thing ever. So a lot of them were like, I don't even know if I could teach anymore.
Right.
But yeah, anyway, as far as Baltimore City, there's a lot of cleanup that needs to be done.
I say throw it all away and start over.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be so much harder for them to try and fix something because they just constantly, knowing the Board of Education as we do and knowing Baltimore City as well as we do, we know what they're going to do is whatever the topic of discussion is right now, let's put a Band-Aid over it and then tell people, oh, we fixed it. And then a few years later, oh, I moved on to another job, so it's not under me anymore. They're not going to care. Yeah. How is it that our kids in 2022 can't go to school because we're in heat advisory because the schools have no air?
Right.
How many times did the school shut down early, half a day, or close, period, this year? And what's going to happen in the winter? Same thing. It's going to be too cold. Kids are going to be walking around with coats on. I'm over it. I'm over the Band-Aids that are being put on there and then nothing gets fixed. And we forget about why we were mad at them in the first place.
Yeah, and just with the falsifying again, in the one article I was looking at, there was another headline there and it said a former Baltimore City principal whose name is Angel Lewis, she actually left the district in 2017 and is now suing city schools for wrongful termination. But, she was saying that the administration told her to falsify stuff. This article talks about a kid who, because he had epilepsy, missed a lot of school, again with COVID and stuff. But the mom's like, y'all are showing him for quarter two that he was present 40 days and was absent too. She's like, he's been home with me most of the time. So you have this school, and I don't know if it says here what school he was going to, but you have, the administration doing these types of things. He was at Furman Templeton in West Side. But you have these administrators willing to do this instead of saying, hey, no, this isn't right. Because just imagine if a number of principals got together and said something against the board. That looks a lot better than the mess we're in now.
Right, but this is the thing. The biggest mistake they did was making these principals CEOs of the schools. Yeah. That was their title. Like, the budget goes to them and they allocated it, to whatever programs they wanted to. To me, that's bullshit.
And it should have worked because you want to trust the people you put in charge. But unfortunately, not everybody.
Yeah, but then the more they show that they're progressing, the more money they get because people want them to be that blue ribbon. Good grades. Yeah, they want to get that blue ribbon.
And the one I interned in was yes, the principal lied, and that's how they got blue ribbon. So the one that what's her face came to.
And I wish he's talking about hiring detectives. Take that money from them dumbasses and put some, like, I need people to check, hold you accountable for each department. There should be an independent group of people. Oh, we gave you this. And that's what I was telling my aunt the other day is that I agree with Elon Musk. When he said, I will give you $16 billion to end hunger, because they made a statement to him saying, oh, if you gave us the money, we'll end hunger. He said, okay, I'll give it to you. But I want to know where every cent goes.
I mean, that should be for everybody.
But that's the thing. A lot of times money goes out, but nobody knows where it's going. And if it's actually going where it was designated to go to. And that's my issue. Money keeps going to Baltimore City schools. We looked at this, was it Vice or something? They were saying Baltimore City, our education system spends so much money. But if you come to Baltimore City, Montgomery County, they don't play. But why is Baltimore City the stepchild?
Yeah, and Milco's going to get money because it's the most affluent anyway. But, I mean, I had a friend used to work in one of those schools, and the kids are just as simple as they want to be, too. It just looks different because it's a bunch of, affluent white kids. Yeah. But, they don't want to do the work. They just sit there on their phones all the time. They're not getting educated either, so. but but anyway, so
But they have more opportunities. They have more.
because they have more money.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's my issue is that Baltimore City needs to be the same thing you see these kids getting. Baltimore City Public Schools, that these kids didn't ask to be here. We got them here. We having money from the federal government telling us, okay, this goes to your education department, your policing, recs and parks and recs and whatever it's called. You know, everything is supposed to go somewhere, and it's designated for those specific places. But for some reason, when it gets to Baltimore City Council's hands, it just disappears. I'm tired of it. Like, where's the money? You keep feeding this police department and neglecting the whole city.
Yeah, and even more so than that, the money that is strictly allocated to education, where is that going?
Exactly.
You know, when it comes down to it, yeah, there's a lot of departments or programs, whatever, that should have more money than the police department, but that's not the way it's going. But you know, you talk about even, you know, more internet access for people across the city. I think was one thing that was put into one of these plans, and you know, it's all well and good, but how is that going to be sustainable if someone can't pay for it now? Like, you started for them and keep it going. Are you going to continue to flip that bill every year? Because if they can't afford it, but then they're at a disadvantage because, you know, the next house has internet and they can do their work because everything's so computer based now. You know, the parents not going to drive the kids to the library to go research some stuff. So, you know,
It's just frustrating to me, and I believe people making educated decisions. It's a great thing. I want people to be able to know who they're voting for. And then, okay, yeah, knowing them is one thing. But then the ability to be this, I want these candidates to understand that you're out here shaking hands, making speeches, and all of that. That's all and great. But if you do make that position, if you get into that position, don't shut your door. You shouldn't shut the door. I don't need to see you to complain to you, but I want to feel comfortable to say, listen, I have a complaint or I have a concern. I give this information, and somebody, I don't expect you to respond to me yourself, but somebody from your office should be responding.
Sorry, I just saw that Kwame Kenyatta Bay withdrew April 15th from the judge of the orphans court. So I guess at
Now-
that point he went for education.
Okay, I hear you. Yeah, and that's my whole thing, is just I want it to be where my concerns are being heard. I don't want my concerns to be lost in the system. Especially since right now, like you said, everything is computer based and everything. We can track everything we send, everything we've said.
Right.
Yeah, so stop playing.
I got a question. When there's no candidates for a district, what happens?
Baltimore City, I have no idea. I think the candidate, the person that was there before stays there.
I saw 3, 4, 5, and 9 don't have any candidates.
I don't even know where 4, 5, and 9 is. I don't even know where mine is now. I forgot.
Yeah, I think I'm 3 or something.
I forgot. Good Lord.
But yeah, so that's crazy. But that's one way to get in. I saw one person, I think it was 6 or something. There's only one person running for that. But yeah. But
yeah.
But yeah, so whoever comes in
I want somebody
be
to get
on the
rid of
board,
Santa Elise.
so whoever comes in to be on the board, they're gonna have to, you know, I mean, not that I can vote anyway, because for one, I'm in the county, but two, I'm unaffiliated, so I can't vote anyway for this. But my thing is, like, whoever's coming in, these 2 positions are gonna be really important because hopefully these people are gonna have strong ethics, and they can say, look, there's obviously some wrongdoing here. Like, something's not working out, something's not right. There's no reason why we should be falsifying anything. But we'll see what happens.
Right.
I mean, I do think that if at least out of the 5 people that were talked to by Project Baltimore, I think there's a few there that could actually be okay and make a difference. And the good thing is there's 2 open positions. So, you know, hopefully the right people are put in, people that have some good ideas.
And actually, we could all have great ideas. Execution.
But I'm hoping that the people that go in will have, something different to bring to the table. Because again, not everybody has the background in education,
Right.
but that doesn't mean that they couldn't do a good job or they don't have ideas and can't bring those to light. So we'll see. But anyway, we have to go to break. We'll be right back.
Beauty's in the eye. We complicate things when all along it's just perfect as it is. Beauty is from within. It's how you feel, not as how others see you. Skincare shouldn't be complicated. She's the Boss believes skincare should be nurturing, easy to use, smell delicious, feel refreshing, and look incredible. She's the Boss Cosmetics and Skincare brings you our botanical-based skincare line that's gentle, uncomplicated, and extremely effective for men, women, and youth. Feel confident and radiate a power glow that flows from the inside out. Exude an assurance that extends from the home into the conference room. Visit us at www.shes-the-boss.com or call us at 866-494-5945 to get yours today.
She's the Boss Enterprises, in collaboration with Get It In, Island Cuisine 2, presents WSTBRN, She's the Boss Radio's second Thursday's networking mixer. Every second Thursday of the month, from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., we will be highlighting a business once a month, radio opportunities, advertising, conversations, great food and drinks. So come on out and enjoy $3 rum punches, $5 Tito's vodka, and $7 catfish platters. For more information on this event and others, follow us on all our social media pages. Facebook, we are She's the Boss Radio. Twitter, we are She's the Boss Radio without the O. IG, Twitch, and Tumblr, we are WSTBRN. Or go out to www.she'sthebossradio.com. We make radio first so that your vision will be heard. If you would like to shine a light on your business during Second Thursdays, please email us at info@she'sthebossradio.com using the hashtag in the subject line, shine a light on it.
We don't break the laws. We just make up our own. The internet's best choice for music. She's the boss. Radio Network.
All right, y'all, we're back. And so, there's a number of things to run for and vote for today. One of those being governor. And so there are a number of Republican and Democratic people running. Not to be honest, as far as just looking at the names, the only ones I recognize are Dan Cox and Wes Moore. Dan Cox because of the TV ads that I've seen against him. And it's enough when it says that he's a Trump supporter. Even if I were to vote Republican, I'd be out on him.
Right.
But and then there's Wes Moore, who obviously I haven't seen much regarding him, but his name has been out there more. I've seen all the signs. I even took a picture once at the intersection. I think it was Lock Raven, Northern Parkway. There's a bunch of people out there talking about vote for Wes Moore. And I was like, well, at least he's got the people out here voting for, campaigning for him.
Right.
Because I haven't seen that with anybody else. To be honest, I really haven't seen any other even signs for other candidates for governor. So I think it's going to be pretty interesting.
It's a long list, but my thing is, this is going to sift the rubbish from the main competitors. You know what I'm saying? Or contenders. Where was it that I was looking at? Okay, so I'm trying to understand. This is a libertarian candidate, and his candidacy is being it's just for a general election. He's not he's not going through the primaries. It's just going to go straight to the general election. And I'm confused with that. Shouldn't they be subject to the same election system that everybody else is going through? So your name is not going to be on today's ballot, but it's going to be on November 2022's ballot. So
I mean, I guess because they're not like us, like we can't vote because we're unaffiliated. But I guess they can't be on it because, like, well, these two guys, because
one
David,
guy's a libertarian, the other
the
girl was a Green Party.
oh well, David Lashar is libertarian. I guess that's what L is, and then Kyle Sefcik is independent. So it says,
And then
they are
David
running.
Harding, there is other it just says other candidates. Like
Yeah,
that
it says they're running in the general election for governor. Yeah, I'm not sure why that's done.
to me it
but-
just makes no sense because I'm like, hold up. Shouldn't we be privy to all your stuff? Let's vet you. Because most people are not going to go to the elections.maryland.gov and research anything. But I don't know. Majority of them are Montgomery County, Frederick. I think Westmore is the only one that's Baltimore City. Hilaire Road. Yeah, Anne Arundel County. This is crazy, though. All these people. I wish them luck. And there is none of them. I mean, none of them. I could care.
Yeah, I'm not really finding anything on why.
Yeah.
I don't.
I tried to yesterday.
'Cause it keeps coming from the voters' perspective.
Mhm.
I'm not. Because I put why can't independents run for governor in primaries, but it's not telling me like why. So yeah, I don't know, but it's interesting, and it's interesting that we can't vote until November. But I mean, it just kind of sucks because yeah, it would be nice to have our vote in. I mean, I don't understand why we can't, but
I'm unaffiliated, so.
well, that's I mean, still, my point is like I don't understand why we can't just because we're unaffiliated. But
I agree with you. I mean, that just means that we can vote Democrat, Republican. We don't have any preference. I don't want you to list me as anything.
so this might help. So this is Pennsylvania, but it's the same as Maryland. So Pennsylvania also has a bunch of people who are unaffiliated or whatever, so they can't vote in the primary. But it says here that Pennsylvania is one of only 9 states with a closed primary system. So people who register without a party affiliation or with smaller third parties, such as the Green or Libertarian Party, are unable to vote for Democratic or Republican candidates in the spring races that determine who runs in the general election. Primary races can be specifically important in areas where voters heavily favor one party, as they essentially decide which candidate will win the position. So it says nearly 1.3 million of the state's 8.7 million registered voters are unaffiliated with the 2 major parties, a number that rose by nearly 10% between 2016 and 2020. So yeah, Trump caused people to go unaffiliated. But I guess, I mean, that's it, because it's a closed primary system, and we're, I guess, one of 9 states that has that. So because of that stupidness, we cannot vote. But yeah, I mean, essentially it is what it is. I'm not going to go Democratic or Republican just so I can vote. It will be what it is, and my vote will count and be heard in November. But yeah, so as far as Governor, I know that you, and I don't know if we even talked about this last week, but there was Charm City Buyers who talked to Wes Moore. Now, Charm City Buyers, they are a couple that teach people how to, buy these broken down homes and renovate them, sell them out, things like that. Something I think that's very important. But they wanted to talk to Wes Moore, I guess, just in general about, him running now. Unfortunately, I couldn't listen in, but I know Moran was able to. So what kind of things were they discussing?
Of course, they were discussing crime. They were discussing mental health. And based on what I got frustrated, you know that, because I was texting you my frustration. He had some good ideas, and it wasn't fishing for the ruse idea of what Baltimore City's supposed to look like as far as crime rate is concerned. He was basically trying to come up with a better idea than mass incarceration and zero tolerance, which I respected that part. But a person made a great point. A friend of mine made a great point, and she was like, well, a lot of this stuff is based on mental health. If the child is going through, I say it all the time, if a person is going through something at home and is not feeling loved at home and is being, traumatized at home, you find a group of people that like you and show you some kind of affection, you tend to go to that. So whether it be
That's like a
criminals,
It's like gang life.
exactly. So whether they're criminals and you guys end up being squeegee boys or robbers and murderers and drug dealers, that's what it is. But her whole thing was she wanted to ask him if he wanted to expand on the mental health piece.
Yeah.
And he just didn't respond.
Okay.
And
Well, I don't mean to speed it up because of lack of time,
Okay.
but how was he on education? Let's just hit bullet points if you can remember.
he really didn't want to touch too much about it. He didn't want to hit it.
Yeah.
But he was like, yeah, that needs to be fixed.
And what did he say of crime and
Nothing.
police? Of course. Well, I did find this on Cox's website, and actually it might be pretty good because it compares him with Schultz. So obviously this is from Cox's side, so it's going to try and make him look better. But they're both Republicans running for governor, and Kelly Schultz was the former Commerce Secretary under Larry Hogan. So
She just
to
messed up
him,
on that one.
huh?
She just messed up on that one.
Yeah, to him, being endorsed by President Trump, I guess, is a
A
pro.
bigger thing.
Is a pro. So for her, it says does not support Trump, which she would have my vote just off of that.
Yeah.
So for him, I'm gonna just list what he has here under him. American First Patriot. She outsourced Maryland businesses and jobs to other countries. Him, 100% pro-life. Her, said she will not change Maryland's abortion laws. Him, will keep small businesses and families in Maryland. Her, choose which businesses were non-essential. Him, no vaccine or mask mandates. Her, stated we must wear the damn masks and follow the rules. Him, will provide school choice and end CRT sexual indoctrination. Her, stated that CRT in Maryland schools is not a big issue and has stood with Hogan calling parental rights absurd. Him, will reduce taxes for Marylanders. Her, spent O'Malley's tax increase budget and withheld Trump's tax relief money for Marylanders. I'd have to look into that. But
Yeah, because the money never came to citizens. But go ahead.
well, that's what he's saying. But I mean, I doubt it's her that held it. But anyway, him will order a forensic audit of the 2020 elections, and then her voted to increase use of mail-in ballots. Which
Okay, so right
there's
there.
so many more on her side that I'm with than his.
Okay. So the first thing you said was patriots on his side.
He's an American First Patriot, and
Okay.
then she
But if you-
outsourced to other countries.
Okay, so if you look at that, that would lead you on to the Oath Keepers and all of that. First Patriots are part of that group.
No, he's saying America First Patriot. He's just saying a patriot as in
Oh,
like the
okay.
general sense. He's not saying he wouldn't put that
But-
on there.
Yeah, he wouldn't put it up there, but if you put a group that people don't associate with them.
Yeah, I mean it's hard. I get it because now Patriot, once you attach it to like your group name and you guys are white supremacists or
That's
whatever.
the first thing people will want.
But again, any military person is gonna call himself a patriot, whether Asian, black, or whatever.
They're
I think-
actual patriots, the soldiers that have fought in wars and defended our rights. They're patriots.
so that's what he's saying. I think
I
is that
wanna
he's
see-
just a patriot of America.
Yeah, but the ones that are so radical, the ones that majority of them didn't fight in anybody's war. They were so incompetent and mentally not there that they couldn't join the military.
Yeah, but I think that's what he just means. Not white supremacist, but those are
I
some
think
bullet
he
points
is.
about them. Of course, with hers, it's coming from Cox, so we don't know. Know? But again, based on what he wrote, she seems like a better candidate than him. But at any rate, it is time to wrap it all up. Thanks for joining us on She's the Boss Radio. Again, it's a 24-hour, 7 days a week radio show. Radio station, I should say. If you want to listen into anything, you can obviously go on social media and find us on Facebook at She's the Boss Radio, Twitter, She's the Boss Radio, IG is WSTBRN, and Twitch and Tumblr are WSTBR. You can also go to Shoutcast or TuneIn or tell Alexa or Siri to play She's the Boss Radio. And you can find Deplorable Rhetoric on Facebook, Deportable_Rhetoric on Instagram, and We Rant to Rave, the number 2 on Twitter. We'll talk at y'all Tuesday. We'll have more to talk about the election. For sure.
You could listen to one of those other stations, but what would your friends think? You could listen to one of those other stations, but what would your friends think? She's the boss. Radio Network.